volunteer Kuchi Dasa Oswal community, helping them by providing psychological first aid since June.
She's been an emotional support counselor with Indian Cancer Society. She's been an emotional support counselor with Indian Cancer Society, Bangalore from June 2015 to September 2019. Counseled patients of varied age groups at various places. She then went on to start Pehchan as a professional counselor, a mission to help identify yourself in 2013, under which she has counseled patients as young as 4 to 104 years old in 10 different languages. Having counseled over 7,000 cancer patients and their families, she has and continues to provide grief support to people from various social and societal backgrounds. Talking of her numerous accolades, some prominent ones are Nari to Naryani Award from KDO Mumbai Mahajan on International Women's Day in March 2016. Mahila Ratna Puraskar from Exide Insurance on Independent Women's Day in August 2017. She is a blessing to the mankind for all the good deeds and selfless services. Mrs. Alpa has been making a difference and been inspiring many lives and continues to provide her noble services to the society. We're very delighted to have you with us today, ma'am.
Thank you.
Alpha, ma'am, you can take over the session.
Yes. Good afternoon, one and all. It's a pleasure to see all my juniors of PSGR Krishnamal College. It's like reliving the life I lived a few decades ago as a student of Krishnamal College. I'm very proud of this institution, and it has given me many opportunities and avenues to spread my wings. Yeah, so just wanted to start with little about Krishnamal College. See, I was so happy to be in the first batch, and we had a wonderful set of friends who have carved their own niche in the different areas of field they are into today. And believe me, out of all the batches which have come up today, ours is still the united batch, the first batch. All of us are connected thanks to technology. And my volunteering work also started from Krishnamal College. It was just a morning assembly, and Principal Madam Dr. W.T. Vasanta, then she was a principal, and she just announced like we have volunteering opportunities. If anybody interested in volunteering their blood for the mankind, because there are many lying in the hospitals without no blood. And that's how I just thought I should give it a try and started off on that beautiful morning. And from then, volunteering has given me immense pleasure and gratitude. I pay my gratitude to Krishnamal College for beginning such a wonderful journey from there. And from then, I've been motivating and inspiring many people around, whoever small or big, who wants to, in whichever way they want any help. As regards Pehchan, a mission to help identify yourself. It is something as a counselor, I started my journey. And that is when I thought, okay, somebody who's been losing their identity in the process, especially when they are diagnosed with life-limiting disease like cancer. And that is how me and my team members, we pitch in, we provide our support to them at every point of time. We are very happy that we are able to reach out to the masses. Language is not at all a barrier to us. We even do sign language. We help even the deaf and mute community as well. And we have seen, like in the pandemic also, we have reached out to many. especially death and dying had become very difficult during this pandemic. And it was so very difficult for everyone uh, to control and manage their emotions, because this pandemic had a very bad effect on everybody's mental, physical, and emotional health. So we tried to reach out to the maximum number of people through our small efforts. So at any time anybody needs any emotional supports, especially with cancer and regarding caregiving and other things, please reach out to me at any time, and we'll try our best and reach you at the earliest. Yeah, and try to help you through the journey. Now today I have taken this very different topic. It's like healthy use of technology. This pandemic has united us through technology. So technology has come as a blessing in disguise. I was just thinking, if there was no technology, we really don't know how we would have managed this disaster which is happening and affecting globally each and every one. But thanks to the technology, and we are able to connect our loved ones, though not physically, but definitely virtually. See, I can be proud as well as unhappy in both the ways. India ranks second in terms of internet users. See, internet is a boon to the society, but at the same time, we have to be mindful of what we are doing. And currently, since everything has come up virtually, we should be very mindful of what people in and around us are also doing with this technology, which is easily and freely available to many. Earlier, it was not so. Even to make a small phone call, we had to walk till the post office, wait in the queue, and then later call up our loved ones. Or it was like we would have to take a pen and paper, write a postcard, inland or cover, and then post it. And it takes a couple of days for our loved ones to know what we are communicating to them. So when you look at that, technology has become a boon. We are able to connect in seconds. Today also, I can see more than 150 plus students are connected to us in this session. So happy and glad, and thank you all for your patient listening. Now let us start, like what has to be done and what not to be done while we are using this technology. The National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bangalore, have started this SHUT clinic. It's started by Dr. Manoj Sharma and team, and it is services for the healthy use of technology. Here as a counselor, we had an opportunity to get trained under them. And this is my maiden attempt in the field of helping people know about the pros and cons of technology use. So the user's opinion, I'm appreciated online and not in real world. This is a very common statement. Every second, third day, I hear people saying this, talking about it. They are not happy with their actual lives. And that is when they take the help of technology. And those people, they appreciate themselves online, or they feel appreciated by somebody who's a stranger altogether to them, but still they are uploaded and liked in the online world. But whereas in the real world, it is not so. That human being, that person is not uploaded so many times. And believe me, we Indians are very use the word, we praise our friends and families very occasionally or rarely, unless it is required. We never are mindful of saying please and thank you frequently. And I've seen even in the many educated people also, sorry to say that, And sorry if it is hurting somebody, but there have been many times people don't use those words, which are very, very important. A person, however small or big, requires to hear a thank you or a word of a kind word or a small appreciation from whether it is a colleague or a teacher or a student or a neighbor or co-worker or whoever that is. But we are very stingy in using that word. Then there are some people, I feel good, happy when I spend time online. And there are people who say, my best friends are online. They respect me and see me as a hero. But in the normal world, that person is not respected nor seen at all, or the presence is not felt even by their family members. Then some people who are addicted to internet and the things which are available freely, easily, just at the touch of a button. Watching Netflix helped me forget my problems. There are many who forget all their life's problems and start continuously watching one movie of the or the other, or one serial over the other, or something or the other continuously on the internet. And there are people who say, I need only virtual world. Rest is meaningless to me because whatever I want, I get it immediately and is well appreciated online. Now, there are some parents and families, what they have to say. My child is unwilling to spend time with me. He or she just wants to use the new gadget which I have gifted, or a new toy which is being used online all the time. My spouse has no time with me. She is interested to be with online friends and not with family. I'm losing my child, spouse to the virtual world. These are the common complaints given by housewives, families, parents, and as a counselor, we come across this very frequently. Modern technology has put a world of information at our fingertips. While technology makes lives easier in many ways, it has also created brand new kinds of stress for the 21st century. Now, there are few things. If you want to evaluate yourself, are you a technology user and how wisely you are using? So this is a small check. I'll just read on a couple of questions and you can identify yourself. Do you belong to that category or not? How often, see, internet addiction test, which is usually conducted by the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences for the people who reach out to them. And this is even we use as counselors. How often do you find that you stay online longer than you intended? This is very common. Like we just start browsing the net and we really don't know. We just forget each and everything. A person gets involved, immersed fully, deeply into it, and they really don't know. And they start watching or looking for something one after the other. And it has a multiple number of options available all the time. And it doesn't take a break at all unless you have an internet issue with the connection. How often do you neglect household chores to spend more time online? There have been many people who don't want to do anything but just enjoy their time online. They are not at all mindful of the family members in and around them, and they always avoid even the basic things which are required. As a counselor, we see there are a couple of clients who have come to us and who just don't go even have their normal bath. They said, we don't require it. I'm not going out. So it's okay. It's once a week. If I have my bath, that's fine. But I just want to be online all the time. I want my online presence. How often do you prefer the excitement of the internet to intimacy with your partner? Even this is very common. And this has been one of the reasons for marital disorders. Like there have been many marital issues because of this internet. They enjoy Wi-Fi time than the wife time, or the vice versa. How often do you form new relationship with fellow online users? There are many who just keep on looking for new friends on different social media platforms or otherwise, whatever the option is available online. Then how often do you see others in your life complaining to you about the amount of time you spend online? There are many people who are just not bothered about the time. They're just bothered about the number of likes they get, or the number of games they play, or number of new friends they make. Or there are a few who also enjoy making new friends, or learning new dishes, or learning new courses also online. How often do you check your email before something else that you need to? How often does your job performance or productivity suffer because of the internet? So these are the few things which you can self-analyze yourself. Are you doing this, or do you be mindful of all these things, and then have a note, have a quick check of yourself? According to this year's survey by the US, 81% say they are connected to a device constantly. But 18% agree that it is a significant source of stress. And 20% adults say technology causes stress if it does not work. But however, it's clear that technology is also something we rely on. In fact, studies show that digital technology helps people to be more flexible and more productive, and makes it easier to get work done. The trick is to take active steps to manage your technology use so that the cons don't override the pros. The American surveys say that 65% strongly agree that periodically unplugging or taking a digital detox is very important for your mental health. But the fact is, only 28% actually do so, or practice, or even are aware of this. Now, there are a few pointers. Don't use phone behind the wheels. Very frequently, we see people who are driving their vehicles, be it a two-wheeler, four-wheeler, or the three-wheeler. And in spite of that, they're continuously on the phones. Thousands are killed every year by distracted driving. While driving, turn off notifications and place your phone out of reach. Unless it is urgent, stop vehicle and answer or respond to your calls. Finish and restart your vehicle. If you think your work is very important and you have to be online all the time, and then please refrain from driving at that point of time. Use a public transport or a cab, or ask someone to drop you. In this way, you can save your life and your head as well. Now, defend your sleep. Smartphones used during nights can interfere with the quality of sleep pattern. Especially phones emit blue lights, which are very harmful for the human eye, and it helps in distracting with their normal sleep pattern. And we have seen there are rise in insomnia and sleeplessness and sleeplessness and sleep related disorders among the masses as well. Thanks to this technology, and many are facing and suffering this. Also, a text or a tweet at bedtime can make your mind start spinning at a time when it should be winding down. So it can affect your thought pattern altogether. There may be a silly thing in that, but which can make you think too much, which is not at all required. You want peace of mind at the end of the day to have a peaceful sleep. Also, resist phone as an alarm clock. For many people, it can be too tempting to have it on the bedside table. But it's wise to use an alarm clock and have your phone or any other technology instrument, to be away from your bedroom. Turn off notifications. Most of the phone sets beep or buzz whenever a new email or text or social media notification comes in constant. Notifications can have a negative effect on your well-being. If you are spending time with your family and at that time there's some notification which is not at all required, it disrupts your family life altogether. A psychologist at the University of British Columbia found that when smartphone users turned off smartphone notifications, they reported low levels of inattention and hyperactivity than they did during weeks when their notifications were turned on. The studies also showed that the users who checked email continuously reported more stress than the one who checked very frequently. To help manage your own stress and improve your focus, try to make sure realistic decisions about what notifications you truly require. Emails are important for work, but not Facebook. That mindfulness you can have. Emails are very, very important, and sometimes a client may be wanting to hear an answer from you immediately or through email, or there may be important assignment you may be signing with the client or a coworker which has to be studied by you. So for that time you can definitely use it, but Facebook you don't have to be connected to all the time. This is a small change, but it makes a huge difference in your life. Manage expectations. If you don't check text messages during work days or emails during vacations, make sure you let people know. You won't be able to enjoy the benefits if you are dealing with frustrated family members and co-workers. Now next, use social media wisely. There are many people amongst us who have had experience of feeling like their life is less glamorous or exciting than the lives their friends showcase on social media. But you have a choice. You can change your relationship with social media for the better. I have seen many friends or even many clients who just take selfies so frequently. Not that they are addicted to the selfies, but they just want to have a best picture of themselves. And later they try to post it on all social media platforms. See, doing it once a way, that's fine. You feel good. Your friends are appreciating you, or your friends want to know what is happening around you. That's a different thing. But at the same time, if you are just continuously doing it just to get the number of likes and comments, so wherein you are spending more and more your time with the online and virtual friends who are not always true to yourself. They may be fake also. We do not know. And it is just for the sake of it, they may doing it. Even they get happiness out of it. But that is not the end and everything about it. It has its own repercussions and disadvantages. Then be present. Digital technology and social media make it easy to stay in touch, but they can distract you from connecting with the people and family in your real life. When you're with friends and family, make sure you make an effort to unplug all your devices. To avoid the temptation, silence your phone or put it on airplane mode or put it out of reach of during lunchtime and dinner time and family outings. See, practical connection in real life, human beings are social animals, and they need to be connected, well connected always, especially with family and friends. They need to meet, interact, exchange ideas. But this pandemic has brought us such a at a point where we were not able to connect to our loved ones also. So that is how we had to make more use of technology. But that was a requirement and we had to do, but not necessary. Now things are opening up. If we use the safety protocols defined by each government or the state, we can definitely get connected and stay with the family and friends, even offline. Now, take time to recharge. Quiet time to think is very important for relaxing, reflecting, and even for boosting creativity. If you are grabbing your phone every time you have a spare moment to opportunities to reach, then you are missing out on opportunities to recharge. Try to set aside some time each day to disconnect. It might be difficult at first, but by the time you will probably reach for your phone less and less and grow value with your relationship to those moments of peace. There are many apps available which can help you understand and detox. There are even many motivational speakers and spiritual gurus who help you do this digital detox programs. There are many whom I have known who are in big positions in different corporate worlds and setups. Even they try to do a digital detox during the weekends. If they're busy during the weeks, they do it from Friday evening to Monday or morning. They just switch off their phone. So they want to enjoy the real life and balance both, which helps them in their emotional and physical well-being. Whether we like or not, technology is important part of our modern world. It won't help your child if you set overly restrictive limits or send the message that technology is something to fear. Instead, focus on teaching healthy habits that will stay with your child for a lifetime. With everything going virtual and online, it's become very important for parents to make their children study online. Of course, now some governments have relaxed the rules, but otherwise, many are still have to use the only virtual platform to connect with the schools and teachers. So, as we are all aware, today's children are growing up in a high-tech world. According to the national survey in 2015, 53% children in an age group of 8 to 12 years have their own device. 24% have their smartphone. Among teenagers, 67% have their own smartphones. So when we compare it to our lives, we were not even allowed to touch the phone, which was available for the whole family. We would make very minimum conversation unless we were old enough to understand what the speaker at the other end was communicating. So we have made a huge advancement, like each one can have more than at least a device or more than 2 or 3 devices also nowadays. But still there is a sea change. We have got the luxury of using technology, but we have to be mindful of how well we are making the best use of it. According to the American Psychological Association, annual stress in America is 94%, and at least one action is taken to manage technology. at least 48% parents say that regulating their child's screen time is a constant battle. 58% worry about the influence of social media on their child's physical and mental health. Even today, there are many parents who are not able to wean their children from maximum use of technology, more than 12 hours, 14 hours. Parents have become so busy with their online work, meeting deadlines and finishing their quarter end work and all of it. So at that point, the children are neglected and they start using more and more of technology. And God alone knows what happens to these children. Are they going in the right direction? Because there is no one who is even having a watchful eye on what they are looking or saying online. So it's a very sorry state, but parents have to be very careful on this and take the precautions at the earliest. Now for children, under 18 months, avoid screen time altogether. They don't require it all. But nowadays, when I see in normal life, when a small child is born, a 6-month-old, when he or she starts eating some solid food or something, then I see the mothers giving the mobile phone or just switch on the mobile phone and make the child eat. I know it's easy for the mother to feed a child that way because she can feed more to the child, or she can even feed what the child does not like also. But here what happens is the child is getting addicted to the mobile phone or the iPad or laptop or whatever that is. So in the bargain, she's just feeding the child, but she's herself or himself making the child a technology addict at a very small age. Children's eye are very important. Eye as such, eyes are very important for all human beings. But basically, especially for a 6-month-old or a 10-month-old to be sitting all the time just before a laptop or watching Tom and Jerry or Chota Bheem or XYZ on the phone or laptop or whatever it is not at all a good idea. For children between 18 to 24 months, parents should choose high quality programming and watch these children. They should be mindful of what they are doing. And parents themselves have to voluntarily block all the sites which the children are not supposed to see or go through. They should put the parental lock, which is very, very important, because we don't know, the small child may be going in a very, very wrong direction. For 2 to 5 years, since the schools also have made it compulsory, it is good to have only 1 hour per day. So where parents can have a watchful eye on the children and his or her activity. For 6 years and up, limit to establish a consistent limit on their time spent and the type of media he or she is using. Or see that the child is given a very basic model of smartphone where he cannot browse more than this, or the data is limited, that they can only watch so much. Now to resolve all these issues, teach kids about technology from a very young age, because they are going to live in this world only once they are here. And they cannot live without technology. We cannot say that I won't teach my child or children on technology. They will require at some point or the other, and especially with schools online, they have to start at a very young age. Computers Explain that tablets, computers, smartphones, and other services should be handled with care. Discuss with them the pros and cons and risk involved. Discuss with them the importance of respecting the privacy and protection of personal information. This conversation should be regular and continuous as the child grows, because we need to educate the child on different things from time to time. And at every age, at a small age, we cannot discuss important things. So as a child grows, we need to explain to her or him the pros and cons and how he or she can be safe while using the technology. Use your judgment. Have family rules for technology use. Video chatting with grandparents or teaching grandparents on using technology by a son or a grandson is still acceptable. Let them use that and stay connected with their grandparents, or let the child teach his or her grandparents or their friends on how to use the smart gadgets. But always also protect the bedtime. Restrict using in the bedroom. Make it a rule, even you follow the same. At the end of the day, ensure that all your smartphones are switched off or on silent mode or on airplane mode and kept it outside the bedroom. So the child also practices the same. Unless you are in a very important profession where you require to attend all and every emergency call, then it's a different matter altogether. But otherwise, see that even the parents practice the same, so it can become easy for him or her to teach their child or children. Pay attention. Have open and honest discussions about what suits and types of contents they are watching or using. Explore software to filter or restrict access to content that's off limits. This is very, very important. Even for adults, unknowingly, they just click on something wrong, which is very, very not the right thing. But get yourself trained by somebody if you're not very active or don't know how to use these gadgets, because there are many times, even as adults, we make mistakes. And these mistakes, we may have to pay a very huge price. Teach good online behavior to children. Talk about the importance of being respectful in digital interaction as well. Educate them on cyberbullying. Discuss digital decision making. Discuss about authentic and accurate websites. How not to use unfamiliar programs and sites. Foster real-time friendships. Digital friendships aren't a replacement for the real thing. Help your child develop social skills and nurture his or her real life relationship. Also, see that you educate your child on the importance of what it means to be having real conversations, how to bond with your siblings, with families, close friends, colleagues, classmates, uncles, aunts, etc., which are all basic life skills, which it's very important for the teachers to the parents to teach their children. So the child also at a very young age understands its importance and try to reach out to them when in danger. So there are these services for the healthy use of technology. It was started, it's called SHUT, S-H-U-T, Services for the Healthy Use of Technology. It was started by the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences in Bangalore. It is India's first clinic exclusively dealing with technology-related mental health issues. There are hundreds of people reaching out to this clinic and getting support. Especially during the pandemic, it has taken a huge toll on the normal people. Their mental health has also taken a huge toll as well. So for this and the technology addiction, because we had been restricted due to lockdowns to not to go out, etc., etc. So everything, the world came online, and people started spending more and more time on technology, and later in the bargain they became technology addicts. So this was started even before that. In 2015 this was started, and Dr. Manoj Sharma, who heads this clinic, talks about two main reasons. There is lack of face-to-face communication, which is very important. Even for any human being, it's very important to have face-to-face communication. Also ensure that your children try to speak to each other face-to-face or telephonic conversation than always chatting all the time, and stay connected through social media and other websites, etc., etc. Also, lack of cyber literacy. People do not know, and they take there's some disturbance. Hello, there's some disturbance.
I'll find it out now.
Yeah.
Give me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Niveda, yes, please mute your mic.
Yeah. Can I
Sorry for
continue?
Yes,
No worries. Yeah. So Dr. Manoj Sharma, who heads this clinic, talks about two main reasons. One is lack of face-to-face communication within the family and the peer group, and lack of cyber literacy. This clinic also helps in self-assess by answering the 4 C's, which are very important. Craving, desire to engage in this behavior. There is a craving. Some people, they just can't sit quietly. They need something or the other. Either they keep meddling with some instrument or the other, be it a paper or a phone or a computer or a laptop or tablet or something or the other, but they keep meddling with that, whether they are watching something or not, but they are just for the heck of it, they continuously want to stay online, or they want to show the world that I'm always available online. You can reach me. Yes, I'm always there, onlinely available, like that. That craving is there, and that person is always having this behavior. It's a very serious behavioral issue, and person having this difficulty must surely reach to mental health professional, or at least to this shut clinic. Now, control. Some people, they do not experience what are the side effects of this. They are experiencing the inability to control themselves with this behavior. They just want to be online and be present. They want to show their present everywhere, on Twitter, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, XYZ, whatever the number of social media platforms are available, and they just want to share their pictures and XYZ. So that control they do not have. They just started with what it is. Let me see how it goes, what it is. Let me become a part of this. Let me become a part of that. And slowly the number of hours they spend online, it start increasing. And now they are at a point of no return. Now there is compulsion, engagement in behavior despite no heed. There are many people in the family, in the friend circle, everywhere they've been warning this person, don't do this, don't do that, but they do not have that habit of self-control, and compulsively they have this behavior and they continuously onto this. Now, consequences, experienced effects due to engagement in these behaviors. So for all these four C's, craving, control, compulsion, and consequences, please reach out to any mental health professional who is handling this, or you can get our help. We can help you whichever small way we can at the earliest. Then there is digital detox app by Shut Clinic. So you can install this app on your phone. So once, and you can put your minimum number of hours marked there. So once you've reached that level, your phone will give you a warning sign, like you have completed today's number of hours online. So you can either switch off or try to reduce to the minimum from now on. Now there are this digital detox. It helps in overcoming addiction as well. It suggests some self-help strategies how you can help yourself by largely using the technology. Now, usage also, you have three things. There are some people who use it very mild, some are moderate, and some are severe. So all these three categories of people needs different type of help. But definitely, if you feel you are in one of the brackets of this, please reach out. Do not suffer in silence, because it is good to prevent now than suffering at a later date. Because technology, it can even affect your eyes, hearing, even your physical health, because continuously sitting in one position, it affects your back, your neck, your fingers, your joints, your body posture. Each and every part of our body is affected. We may not know initially, but with long-term use, definitely all this can be saved. So please take any help required to be at the earliest from this, and to reach out to Shut Clinic, it can be contacted at 080-2668-5948. Let me repeat, Bangalore NIMHANS Shut Clinic number 080-2668-5948. Also, let me add, since you are all graduates, as a short-term course, even you can take up this course and help your friends, families, near and dear ones to come out of this addiction, because this is going to be larger and larger, because each and every person known to us is somewhere or the other using internet, maybe an hour or 24 hours, we do not know, but definitely each one is using. So let us use it mindfully. Technology is to help us. Let it be our slave. Let it not be our master. Yeah. So thank you one and all. Stay safe. And thank you very much for your patient hearing. So I'm ready to take up any questions if you have. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nityakala ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining us in spite of the busy schedule that you have. You've always been connecting with us and helping us to host many useful programs to our students. We are grateful to you, madam.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
Students, you can ask questions if you've got any.
Hi, can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, hi,
I'm
Amuda.
Amrita.
Yes,
Hi,
Amuda.
Alpha. Great going.
Thank you, dear. How are you?
I'm good. I I wanted to add one point. Maybe I missed it in school back in here in Singapore. We
Okay.
also make sure that the children are not allowed to use their laptop or computer inside a room.
Okay.
We are supposed the study place has to be always placed in a place where everybody can have access, like in a living room or a dining room. So there
Correct.
is no closed door working station. That's I just wanted to add to your speech.
Yeah. Thank you
Great
so
going.
much. Thank you so much, Amuda.
Thank you.
Yes, parents have to be careful and let it be in the drawing room or the dining room.
Yeah,
where
it's a
they
must
study.
in our schools here.
Yes, so let us also encourage children to and the parents to practice this for their children,
Yes.
because this is the way we can have a watch over them and also ensure that they don't go overboard on technology.
Shut Clinic is only in Bangalore, or
Yes,
you
it's
have-
in Bangalore. It's in Bangalore only. It started by the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS. Yeah. So this is the first of its kind in India.
Okay. Maybe the students can open up about the difficulties or not able to practice what some of the things that you have told them to practice.
Yes, yes. Sure.
Where to draw a line if you are doing everything online due to lockdown.
Correct, correct. It's very important actually.
Thank you, Alpa.
Yeah,
Very informative speech.
Yeah, thank you, Amuda. Any other questions, friends?
Students, we have to be highly thankful for the first batch of alumni, because they've been supporting us in various events, not alone the first batch, the other batch also. But as Alpha Madam had said, the rapport which we have with the first batch is fantastic. Any alumni meet, if I just give a message, they'll be here. They'll be flying down from Mumbai, anywhere, any part of India. So I'm very happy, and thank you, Amuda ma'am, for joining us. Girls, be forward.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Girls, come forward.
And I must add that I don't know about the students now, but we are seeing the way our college is progressing over the years and the heights that they are reaching. We're very, very proud of you. And this faculty, the management, the staff, you're all doing a wonderful job. Keep going.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. Girls, you can post the questions, please. See, if not on this topic, at least anything you'd like to hear from them, because both of them are there. You can just share your thoughts. Come forward.
See, I'm not going to judge you in any way. So it can be a silly question also, and it can be a serious one also, which you want to discuss.
This is a way to prove that she was talking about face-to-face conversation, actually opening your mouth and talking. It's always easy to talk to strangers, right? That's what she mentioned during her speech. Now you can test yourself. Students, you can test yourself whether you can actually talk to them.
Please open up so that you'll be bold enough to talk in group discussions and all that.
Yes.
And I'm very proud to have Alpha and Amuda, our old students. I am Dr. Padmavati, Dean Academic Support and Alumni Relations.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Alpha talks, I listen to her. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I know BBA department is making full use of you for all our activities. And thank you for just appreciating us for our NARF ranking and all that. Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, we wish we are now studying there. We would have had more openings, more opportunities.
Virtually you can go to our website and see the improvement, tremendous improvement it has come over the institution. And
Yes.
Dr.
Yes, we are about 40 over alumni living in Singapore from PSTR Krishnamal.
Okay,
So-
I'm happy about it, and all because of that is first credit goes to Mrs. Nandini for
Yes.
her
Yes.
personal interest taken, and next Dr. N. Yashoda Devi is totally
Yes.
involved in everything, and then
Yes.
we have a principal who supports all of us in
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Our Nirmala ma'am.
Our Nirmala ma'am, yes.
Yes, you are Nirmala ma'am.
We
Yes.
were her first students.
First students.
Oh, yes, that's what. And I have spent my lifetime there, and after retirement, still I'm there. So I'm
Yes.
fortunate enough to be there inside the campus.
Amazing. Salute to what
Amazing.
you're doing.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
Come on,
Thank you for-
students. Come on, come on. You have to do
Yes,
better
students,
than
come
us.
forward to ask at least a few doubts or whatever you want to talk, casual talk with them so that you will gain confidence.
One student has posted how to improve the communication skills. She wanted
That's
to
what,
hear
first
from
open up your mouth and talk. to
talk.
people.
Yes.
Just unmute and say hello, your name, and what's your passion? Or is it a boring lecture, or we are praising each other too much? Anything. Be bold.
Anything. Yes, we are not going to judge you in any way. And a person learns from his or her mistakes always. And nothing is right and wrong. It's always the first bold step what you take is very important.
Actually, yesterday we had another webinar of Devagiri College,
Okay.
and our alumni Shimna Shamir was addressing them, and one
Okay.
stupid question was asked after the lecture was over, asking her, why do you want to boast? I think Nitya Kala was there with me for the webinar, and then you should see the magnanimous way in which Shimna Samir, literature student, but now in American banking, answered that question. So many of the students admired the way she took it up.
What was
So-
the question again?
Why do you want to boast? Actually, she was sharing how Krishnamal gave her all the confidence, and then her struggle, how she worked in a bakery in US,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then started improving.
Okay.
So for that, that man,
Uh-huh.
I think he's a lecturer from some other college, and he asked, why do you want, even when she started the speech, he went on posting saying he has a question. And finally, this was the question asked. But
Why
all
do you want to
campus-
boast about it? You mean brag
Yes,
about
boast
it?
about
Brag
it.
about it.
See, America, do you think people will vote and select her as the top 100 women? She was judged by Yahoo and all that. So
Yes.
when it is so,
No, she was not bragging or boasting.
no. She was just mentioning her struggle to
Probably it was just that individual person how he looked at it. It is nothing to do with her.
Yes. So she beautifully managed it. So that our students should learn. See, our days
Yes.
are over. Now our students, they're going to live in a challenging world. So they
Yes.
should come forward to learn from that. Come on, students, ask at least, introduce yourself, saying hello.
Hello, ma'am. This is
Hello.
Afra from second year BBA. So
Yeah.
since you spoke a lot about the negative feedbacks of social media and the excess use of technology, as youngsters, we've also seen in the recent era, especially from the onset of pandemic, we've noticed a lot of apps and websites where we can connect to people, and it actually helps our mental health to vent out our struggles. So what is your take on this side of technology and social media, where we can connect to people, which actually helps our mental health as well?
See, if you take it in the right way, that's fine. It should not be affecting your mental health or physical health or your relationship in the bargain. You stay connected with a mental health professional for some help, seeking help online, that's fine. But it's not that you avoid each and every relationship in your family, your peer group, your thick and thin, your near ones, and then stay close to somebody online. So that is what I meant was wrong. But otherwise, this is a good
May I
option.
add? I think you
Yes.
have to balance. You have to
Balance
balance.
both.
If you are only you can identify it. First, Shabnam, congratulations and kudos to you for coming forward to talk to us. And the other one is that if you are able to balance, you check yourself whether your social relationship with your kith and kin, your neighbors, your family, your friends that you meet every day, your family members, if you are able to still do a connection and then also continue with somebody else, it's fine online. There should be a balancing. Am I right, Alpa?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. So I'm
Yes.
Alima Iqbal from 3rd BBA, ma'am. And it is
Yes.
such a great pleasure to have our seniors along with us today of the first batch, Alpha ma'am and Amuda ma'am. It was so nice to listen to you people speaking, ma'am. So of course, the exposure given by our college to you is immense. We come to know, ma'am, by this. Ma'am, I need to ask that the question that I need to ask is that, ma'am, to a person who is addicted to phone, when we speak to them about that, most often they are not ready to take it that way. They are aggressive and rude in speaking. So how can we handle that, ma'am?
So you should identify, maybe if you're not able to do as a parent, then you should be able to identify their friend circle. Talk to them and see if they can help in this regard. See, sometimes children don't listen to their parents. But at the same time, whatever their friends or peer group says, for that, they are ready. And they will even give a patient hearing to that. Or maybe you can talk to their, somebody, they may be having a godfather or a godmother kind of a thing. Sometimes people have them in their lives. So you can identify that person. Or maybe you can identify if that person has a teacher or a colleague or a boss, whatever is, whom he or she trusts. So then it becomes easy. If not, then write it down and put it on their table at a time when you feel he or she will open it and read it in a calm and composed way. Maybe there is a time they may backfire also sometimes, but you never know. You can change that person immediately also.
I'll add here one more thing.
Yes, Amuda.
We have this because I'm so closely involved with my son's school.
Okay.
We have this thing, like whenever we have a gathering of the friends, we discuss among my son and his friends' parents. We have an agreement: no fizzy drinks, no mobile phone in the party for 3 hours party or a 4-hour party. No phones, no fizzy drinks. In the dining table, no phone. When you go out for dinner, no phone. You don't bring your, when we go on a holiday to grandparents' house, no laptops are taken from here. So there is a different ways, but everybody have to cooperate. Probably
Yes.
when your cousin is not doing, maybe you won't do it in a family gathering. So we have to invent new ideas, but
Yes,
most of
yes.
the time we ourselves are on the phone, unfortunately.
See, in fact, I would like to add, this is a marketing strategy. Few hotels, after the lockdown, they have made this rule. If you deposit your phones and then have dinner or lunch, we offer you a 5% additional discount.
Yes, I saw about that.
Yeah, it's a marketing strategy, but definitely it can help in a very good bonding, whether it is friends or family.
Yes. And now the smartphones are with this technology that by 10 o'clock, they automatically switch off.
Switch off, yes.
So all those apps have come. We can use it. And then like for my son, when he was in school, final years, we have this app in the laptop. It pops in. If you are going into different website, it pops in and tells that go back to whatever that you are doing and no surfing. There are a lot of apps like that. Students can, if they do it on their own, then it makes more sense than somebody else imposing it on them.
Correct. Dr. Nitikala madam, I think our next speaker is already here.
Yes.
So let us wind up our session and we can welcome her. Yeah. So thank you, girls. And a very huge and warm welcome to Advocate Meenal Bharat Khona. She is a very good friend of mine. Welcome you, ma'am. Yeah, Nitya ma'am, now you can continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Our second speaker of the day is Mrs. Meenal Bharat Khona. Is a High Court advocate at Mumbai and a government-appointed notary. She is also a public advocate in several eminent banks in India. She holds a degree in BSc Max and LLB. She had won many accolades for her service to society. To name few, Mumbai Award, Nari Ratna Award, and Dr. Sarojini Naidu, the Nightingale of India, International Award for Working Women for her significant contribution to the growth of the country. We welcome you, ma'am, and thank you for accepting our invitation and gracing the occasion by joining us in spite of your busy schedule. Over to MC Desk for a formal introduction.
This session is now going to be about domestic violence and legal rights for women, a matter that has triggered a raging concern in the recent past amidst the pandemic and nationwide lockdown. Mrs. Meenal Bharat Khona is a High Court advocate at Mumbai and government-appointed notary, panel advocate in several eminent banks in India. She's pursued a degree in BSc Math and LLB. She deals in property conveyancing, including drafting of all kinds of legal documents. She has now been practicing for 28 years and convincingly is one of the well-known and leading advocates at Mumbai with huge clientele base and eminent financial institutions like HDFC. She's also a legal advisor for co-ops.
Some of her acclaimed accolades and felicitations include Economic Times Felicitation and Icons of Navi Mumbai, Indian Merchant Chamber Navi Mumbai as Women Achiever of Navi Mumbai, awarded as Nari Ratna by Kutch Shakti National Awards, Shri Maharashtra Ekam, Jain Association of Youth Navi Mumbai, awarded her as Jain Idol of Navi Mumbai, and many more from several reputed and esteemed organizations. She also chairs Shri KDO National Women Empowerment Committee of Shri KDO Samast Mahajan, Viceroy Park Co-op, Trustee of Navi Mumbai, Anchal Gach Murti Pujak Jain Sangh. She is trusted as a safe and dependable navigator in matters of complicated stamp duty and registration in Mumbai. Mrs. Meenal is very dedicated towards providing services to the society and encourages and inspires all women to serve the society while supporting their families as well. With all pleasure, we welcome you to illuminate us on the topic, ma'am.
Hello. Very good afternoon to all of you. And it's
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Alpa, for just inviting me to share my knowledge.
You're most welcome.
Yeah. Actually, in order to live with dignity, legal awareness is necessary. So I will surely try to share. See, I cannot say everything what I know or what I learn, but considering today's college girls are there, so I have thought of just giving ideas of the modern laws or which are more amended in last 10 years. I would like to have the access to share my screen first.
I hope you are able to share.
Yes. Actually, this is my passion. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you're able to hear you.
Actually, this is my passion to share my knowledge. I keep on sharing the session or giving session on legal awareness of women's legal rights. One more thing I do, that is wills, nominations, and succession rights. Few things all ladies or all girls must know in today's era. So I will try to share my knowledge as possible. Know your right. See, legal rights for women. First, most important, women can be called to police station for the interrogation under Section 160 of Criminal Procedure Code. If some incident is happened in front of you, or if you are witness to some crime, And if police calls you, you have to come to a police station and to give your statement. This is wrong. You can say, you need not get afraid. You can tell to police authorities. The women cannot be called to police station for giving statement, for interrogation. Of course, if somebody is guilty, that is different. But if you are just giving statement for some other crime, then you cannot be called to police station. So if such call comes to you, you need not worry. Next, a zero FIR can be lodged at any police station, so cops can turn you away. Suppose you are staying at Coimbatore and you have come to Mumbai and some wrong is happened to you or some molestation or some accident. You are going to Mumbai's police station and saying that you want to lodge FIR. So Mumbai police authorities cannot tell you, you are staying at Coimbatore, you go and lodge your FIR there. So, or because some crime is done, at one place, but geographical boundaries cannot be compel you to go to that police station and lodge. Then subsequently, that department will transfer that matter to the concerned department. So you can, if some wrong, say rape or something happened, you can lodge the complaint at any police station nearer to you and need not be with that jurisdiction. According to a Supreme Court ruling, a woman cannot be arrested after sunset or before sunrise. If you are guilty of any crime or anything, police cannot arrest girls or ladies during the evening and in the night. They have to arrest you during the day. Of course, if some serious matter is there, then this is exempted. But in general state, this is, so no police can come to you in the evening to arrest you. Right to privacy while recording statement is provided under section 164 of Criminal Procedure Code. Suppose somebody is rape victim or somebody wants to talk to privately in judge's chamber. She doesn't want to talk in the courtroom. She doesn't want to give a statement. Then she can request judge, I want to give my statement in the private chamber. Judges will definitely hear so. So you need not, how I will tell what happened. You need not worry. Many things are given to ladies so that they can come ahead. If some wrong has happened to them, they need not worry and they should definitely file a complaint. Women are entitled to free legal aid in case of rape. If unfortunately some rape victims are there, they will get free legal aid, free of cost advocate from government to fight their case. So this right is given to women if this wrong is happened. Most important nowadays, every girl, every lady want to work. I think most are all educated or mostly everybody is working. So this act has come in 2013. Sexual harassment of women at workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. We see in movies, in TVs, and we read in social medias, many times male bosses, they just try to do sexual harassment of a girl employee or a lady employee. So if number of employees are more than 10, then that office should have this redressal committee. If that redressal committee is not there, then every district has this committee. So you don't wait till some wrong is happened. This harassment also complaint can be filed, and that person will be penalized or will be punished. female sexual assailants have right to keep their identity anonymous. That's okay. Women can lodge complaint via email or registered post to the deputy commissioner or commissioner of police. Means you need not go, and you can file your complaint by email also. आपको physically वहाँ नहीं जाना है. You can just file your complaint by email also. That's what online complaint registration is also available. Most important, the Equal Remuneration Act. If you are a female and somebody is male, there cannot be variation in the remuneration. This act is there. All should get equal salary. The gender difference should not be there. This is again most important. Many of you may not be aware of this. Stalking. Stalking is punishable under IPC since 2013. What is the meaning of stalking? And it is a cyber stalking. You might have seen, we ladies or we female have sixth sense. We are aware if somebody is following you, if somebody is purpose, you are not interested in that man or that boy is purposely gifting you. You see that car or that vehicle near you always. So you sense that somebody is following you or somebody is after you. Even on social media, you come to know that somebody is following you. So if you sense any such person, you need not wait for some wrong to happen to you. उससे पहले ही you can complain with the police authority. So stalking is punishable. Need not get some wrong happen and then you go to court. This is the main subject today I have to address. Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. See, domestic violence, I will give the proper definition for domestic violence. Domestic violence or abuse is not only to physical violence. It is not limited only to physical violence. It can also mean other forms of violence, such as torture करते हैं और verbal, sexual, economic abuse, emotional abuse. All this come under Domestic Violence Act. Even most important funda, matlab, inclusion of this act is cannot be dispossessed from her married home. Men cannot remove her from shared household. See, many times married ladies hear this dialogue कि you go to your peer, आप आपकी मम्मी के यहाँ चले जाओ, you get lost and all these things. No, nobody can kick you out from your married home. That is called आपका जो though it may not be owned by your husband, though it may not be owned by you, though it may be owned by your in-laws, but nobody can kick you out from your married home. That is this act is given for this protection of women from domestic violence. Nobody can kick you out from your married house. Even if the house is not in your name, you can object of selling that premises to third person. Means आपको डरना नहीं है, अरे ये फ्लैट तो बेच रहे, अब मैं कहाँ जाऊंगी. You need not worry. आपको सिक्योर्ड हाउस होल्ड देना ये आपके इन-लॉज की जिम्मेदारी है, and you need not worry for that. Even if you have some fear of some male members of your in-laws family, so or you can say secured housing, you can stay in one room and that order can be passed कि इस room में no male will be entered. Sometimes somebody has problem with brother-in-laws, father-in-laws, or some male member. They also try to do some sexual harassment. So in that case, you need not tolerate all this. You have to go and approach the authorities. So they will give the order and you will be secured in one room, or you will be given the proper protection. This is what all is the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act. Majority of you understand is only domestic violence is the physical. No, it is not only physical. So mind it, nobody can kick you from your married house. Again, this is a very important act. All should know Hindu Succession Act 1956 amended with effect from 2005, and many more judgment has come in 2018, in 2020. Earlier, it was like that. After 2005, son and daughter both have right and liability from the date of birth as co-partners in joint Hindu family. Now, daughters even born before 2005 have right in their father's property. So it is equal rights in father's property as well as in husband's property. This is very important act. Again, you know there are senior citizens always there. So protection of senior citizens, it is our not only moral, it is our legal responsibility to take care of senior citizens in our family, our grandpas, our parents, our grand-in-laws, whomsoever. We need to take care legally also. So Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act 2007 entitles them to claim maintenance from their son as well as their daughters. If your parents need maintenance from you, they can claim legally कि ये हमारा ध्यान नहीं रख रहे, we are staying alone, or we are staying with them but they are not taking care of us. So it is not only moral, but it is our legal responsibility to take care of senior citizens in our house. Again, if the property is owned by senior citizen and children are abusing them, they are not taking care of them, so senior citizens can evict the children from their house if the children are not behaving properly from them. So Alpaji, today I have just taken this session on women's legal rights.
Okay.
I'm sorry, actually, though I have a very big session on succession rights, wills, but the subject was only for women's right. I have taken in short, and I have taken only the 2013 ke baad, whatever new, probably for more working girls, working ladies, what new amendments are done.
Yes.
Hope I am able to explain you a little bit. And thank you very much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge. I just conclude my session here. Thank you very much.
Okay, Meenal Ben. I know is you have a bad throat also today. In spite of your sore throat, you obliged to come and participate in the session.
Yes,
So
yes.
thank you very, very much, actually, Meenal Ben. And I know your schedule is also very tight. It's a midweek today.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but I just have one question. Can I put it?
Please, 5 minutes, okay. I'm able to talk.
Okay, okay. So Meenal Ben, I understand there was one couple who met with an accident, and the police arrested the husband and wife. Like you mentioned, in the evening they don't arrest a female, but the girl was just sitting in the car. Her husband just hit a opposite car, but those people were very stubborn and they put all the damage and what all not. They were rowdies basically. So
That's why, see, unfortunately, our system is like that. That's why you should know the rights.
okay.
If with that car accident, somebody died on the spot,
Asha. No, nothing of that said happened.
called serious offense. Then
Okay.
police have all authority to put them
Correct,
behind.
correct, correct.
But if it is not serious crime, then they cannot. Then that people should know this law.
Yes.
You cannot put me behind the bar during the evening or during the night. So
Okay.
even if you are witness to any crime, many times you get the call from police station. आ जाओ 4 बजे आ जाओ आपको पूछना है and we get afraid अरे why हमको बुलाया आप अच्छे से बोलो sir I am ready to cooperate but you can't call me to the police station I will give my statement in front of my parents my family my lawyer or it's okay you can come to my office you can come to my home we should cooperate but in a nice way.
Okay. No, but this couple, they went through a very bad time. They took them. The accident happened around 7:30 in the evening, and they were arrested around 8:30 because the opposite party, he complained. He said, no, this couple were not driving properly, and they tried all methods. Some influence also.
Driving seat, then why she was lady driving?
No. The male, her husband was driving. She was a passenger, but they didn't oblige. They said, "No, Friday is over, and now the court will open on Monday."
Generally, Friday they take it. This I should not say this on this forum. Generally, they have habit of harassing people on Friday.
Yes.
Some undue advantage can be taken.
Yeah, it was very bad, and I had to counsel that couple, and it had taken a very bad toll on their mental health actually.
Mostly see, even stalking and all these are new laws. Everybody should know.
Yes.
See, we have that sixth sense that somebody is going to trouble you. So
Yes.
don't wait till he harm you.
Yes.
Pehle you can complain against him and he will be put behind the bar. So there are many bolte na new amendments in the laws favoring ladies. I hope the gathering could gain some knowledge with my session. And if anybody else want to say something, it's okay. For 5 minutes, I'm there.
Friends, you have any questions, please ask her. She is available.
Girls, the time is very less. If you have an important question, kindly post it. Please understand and act fast. Any other participant also, apart from the students, are interested in posting the question, can do it.
Also, madam, I just want to understand, like really for stalking, people do give a complaint? Is this happening?
They don't know. That's why I keep on putting hammer on this.
Okay.
See, unfortunately, we have so many incidents of rape, gang rapes.
Correct.
And all. So we always tell girls, see, we should be very careful and don't wait. Girls don't know, okay, we kya karne ka, they just try to avoid that guy.
Yes.
But I will say rather avoiding, if it is serious, if you find him, he tries to gift, he tries to send message, he tries to follow you everywhere. And if you are not interested, then definitely don't let him go to more extract and just stop him.
Like, so this complaint can be given in any police station also and via email also?
Police station, no, police. We are to
police station. Okay. So most of the time what happens, the person also feels once I go to a police station, then they will keep harassing me for a long time. And with that fear, people don't give a complaint.
Yes. Nowadays that, see, here all girls are doing post-graduation or they are
Correct.
This is advice to them. I will advise, use all these legal rights cut tips as a dal, not as a sword.
Yes.
But if something really comes to you, then definitely you should take advantage of all these rights. And believe me, in our Indian constitution, all laws are favoring female.
Yes.
So need not worry. Don't take any disadvantage. Don't file any wrong complaint. It has girls are done so this also. This is wrong. This tarnish the reputation of female. So और देखो गलत चलता नहीं है लंबा. Sometimes you are going to expose कि you have filed wrong or false complaint. So don't dare to do so.
Yes, agree.
Okay, I think it's, we will conclude. Anything is there?
No. Thank you so much. Nitya ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for joining us in spite of your busy schedule.
Yeah. No, thank you.
With your session, we will be sharing more bottles.
Okay, thank you everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manal ma'am. It was definitely a thoughtful and eye-opening session. The feedback link is shared in the chat box. Please do fill it. I'd like to call Alima Iqbal, Association Secretary of PBA, to render the vote of thanks.
Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. A warm and a pleasant evening to everyone. I would like to start by giving glory to God Almighty for making today's occasion a resounding success. We extend our deepest sense of gratitude to Shri G.R. Govindarajalu and Srimati Chandrakanti Govindarajalu for creating this wonderful platform for all of us. We are also grateful to our chairperson, Dr. R. Nandini, Managing Trustee, Shri G. Rangaswamy, Secretary, Dr. N. Yashoda Devi, and Principal, Dr. S. Nirmala, for being the pillars of support and empowering us always. We extend our deepest sense of gratitude to Mrs. Alpha Dharamshi, founder of Pehchan Bangalore, for her informative speech on healthy use of technology. A heartfelt thanks to Mrs. Minal Bharat Kona, Advocate, High Court and Notary Mumbai, for her valuable time and efforts and this most required and informative lecture on domestic violence and legal rights. Thanks a lot, ma'am. We are thankful to our head of the department, Dr. K. Vidyakala, ma'am, for her never-ending motivation and support. A heartfelt thanks to all the faculties for guiding us always. As importantly, I thank all the participants for their sincere participation. I thank the outside participants as well sincerely. Once again, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us for today's session.
Thank you, ma'am.